মোদে গৌরে লো হরি বলে মোদে গৌরে লো হরি লো রে গৌরাঙ্গে যা প্রেমে এলো ফেলো এলো রে গৌরাঙ্গ প্রেমে এলো ফেলো নিতাই অদ্বৈত সঙ্গে বন্ধুরে বাসিলো নিতাই অদ্বৈত সঙ্গে হরি বলে বলে Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Mangala Bhavana, Mangala Hari, Mangala Bhavana, Nandanda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
राधे व्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 राधे व्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम
गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनर्पितं चरिं चिरात् कारुण्यवतीं कलौ समर्पयितुं उन्नतजरसां स्वभक्तिश्रियम्। हरिपुरसुन्दरद्रुति कदम्ब सन्दीपिता सदा हृदे कन्द्रेषु स्फुरतु वै सच्चिदानन्दः। महाबोधे स्थिरे कनकरुचिरे नीलशिखरे वसनप्रसदान्त सहजबलभद्रे नवलिना सुभद्रा मध्यस्थ सकलसुरसेवावसरदो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे। प्रमदमदन लीला कंदरे कंदरते रचयति नवयुनो दन्दमस्मि नमद इति किलकर्णाथ लग्नकस्य द्योरमे निज निकट निवासं देहि गोवर्धनतम्। राधा चिंता निवेशिनं यस्य कांति विलोपिता श्रीकृष्ण चरणं वन्दे राधालिंगितं विग्रहम्। भक्त्या विहीनाय अपराधलक्षै क्षिप्तस्य कामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि तं शरणं प्रपन्न वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। In glorification of Srila Gurudev, we hearing from so many days from respected devotees from many perspectives the glorification of Srila Gurudev, which is endless. As Bhagwan is Ananta, his devotees' glories are also Ananta. Nitai Charan Satya Tahar Sevak Nitya. As Shri Nityan Prabhu is eternal, so his sevakas, his servants are also eternal. Srila Gurudev, carrying that special mood, very compassionate mood like Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Even there was a time when so-called people, devotees, they started speaking that what Narayan Maharaj is preaching, this is not being taught by our acharyas. We are not supposed to even discuss this. We are not qualified for this. And he is preaching like that. Just like Shri Nityananda Prabhu, without any hesitation, without any barriers, his karuna, his compassion overflowed. That wealth which Shri Gurudev was holding in his heart overflowed. He was not able to hold that. Because his tadatme with Shri Narottam Thakur, tadatme oneness with Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, tadatme with Shri Rupa Goswami, tadatme with Shri Vishnu Chakur Thakur. And therefore, speaking about Prayojan and Ras Vichar was not The only mode of enjoyment that Gurudev was, like if someone say Gurudev is only enjoying speaking that, it's not the matter of he's enjoying speaking that. It's a matter of this is the service of entire Guru Parampara. I was speaking this morning. The mood of Acharyas. Gurudev was holding that legacy of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vishnu Chakur Thakur, I mean all Guru Parampara. Holding that. And what they wanted to give. Gurudev said, this is what Swami Prabhupada wanted to give. And he gave this in the commentaries of Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and producing those books, Life Come From Life and Nectar of Devotion. Srila Gurudev used to say, everything is there in the books of Swami Prabhupada. But the only difference is, I am speaking this openly. But this is what he wanted to give. This is what Srila Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Goswami Maharaj wanted to give. Gurudev said, this is what my Guru Maharaj, Shri Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj wanted to give. This is what Bhakti Siddhanti Prabhupada came to give. This is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote in his books. More than 60-70 books. This is what Vishnu Chakur Thakur is, Ras Acharya is giving in his commentaries on Bhagavatam. This is what Narottam Thakur is preaching. So what is my fault? And that's what Srila Gurudev used to say. Since I have taken this great responsibility, and it's my responsibility, because I have taken the remnant, and I don't want to become ungrateful to my Guru Parampara. I learned, I got so much from them, and it's my time to repay them. And this is the best service. And if I have to go hell for this, I am ready to go hell for this. Can this possible? Gurudev is speaking this out of so much humility. That even if I have to go hell for this, I am ready to go this. This mood of humility starts from Guru Parampara. Gurudev said, my Guru Parampara starts from Radharani. Radharani Lalita Sakhi, Rupa Manjari. This is my Guru Parampara. Shri Radharani, she is the one who is Srimati Radhika Eka, only serving Krishna. Other rasas have some compromise. Dasya ras, they love for Krishna, no doubt. But they are sharing that love. In Sakhya ras also there is some sharing. They are serving Krishna, they love Krishna, but they also go back to home. And they also have affection for their parents. And parents have for them. But more to Krishna. But still there is little something absent. She is Yashoda Maya. Yashoda va Mahabhaga papo yasya stanam hari. Nand kim akrod Sheva mohadyam Yashoda va Mahabhaga papo yasya stanam hari. How glorious is Sri Maharaj, in whose courtyard Krishna is enacting human-like pastime. Shruti apare smriti itare bharat anantu bhav bhajavita aham iha nanda vande yasalim parbrahm. Shri Raghupati Upadhyay. Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Mahaprabhu met him, he said this. Aham iha nanda vande, I glorify, I pray to Sri Nanda Maharaj in his courtyard. Krishna who's parbrahm, enacting childhood pastimes. And who can be more glorious than Yashoda Maya? Gurudev is saying this in his lectures. I am only speaking from his lectures. Who can be more glorious than Yashoda Maya? Papo yasya stanam hari. Krishna, who's the cause of all causes, Supreme Personality, is drinking her breast milk. And this endless milk. Gurudev used to say, the Shir Sagar. Shir Sagar is too less, but she has so much milk of affection. And who proved this? Shri Kunti Devi, first canto. The first stuti in Srimad Bhagavatam is a stuti of Kunti. And she is directly speaking to Krishna, saying, "Oh Krishna, I am mother. I have 5 children. But I am more fortunate than Devaki. Because Kunti is mother, so she is comparing herself with mother section. So everyone actually compare according to their understand their levels. Brahmaji's grandfather, right? Pitamaha. And he compared with father section. I'll come to that point. But here, Kunti Devi, she's saying, I am mother, but I am more fortunate than Devaki. Why? Because he only helped Devaki one time in the prison house of Kamsa. When you released Devaki and Vasudeva, only one time. But you saved and protect me and helped me so many times. Krishna said, did I? I don't remember. Can you list? She said, yes. Vishe Magni Purush Darshaya Asarvase Vana Krishe Krishe Mride Mride Anek Astru Dronu Chastra Abhirakshati. When we were getting burned in that black house, when Bhim was given the poisonous laddu, you helped us. In the battlefield of Maharikatha, from so many warriors, from so many opposition and so many weapons, you helped us. And just now, you had the womb of Uttara. Dronu Chabi Rakshati. Just now you helped Uttara. So, why don't I say this? I say this openly. I'm more fortunate than Devaki. But I must tell you, there is one mother who's more fortunate than me. And there is no other mother in comparison to her. And Krishna was very excited to hear this. And who's that? Kunti Devi said, Gope dadakrita ghasam dam tabad yate dasha ashu kalin anja samraksham bhaktra ninya bhai bhavanastasya sava mohoiti dhirapi yadhiveti. Oh, I remember. And that mother is Yashoda Maya. No one can be in comparison with Yashoda Maya. Who's saying this? This is the speciality of Gurudev saying, this is the speciality of Braj Parikar. That Dwarika Parikar is glorifying Braj Parikar. You understanding what I'm saying? Kunti Devi is Dwarika Parikar. But she is glorifying Braj Parikar. Mother section. She is glorifying Yashoda Maya. And how she is glorifying? I still remember when you were so naughty in your childhood, stealing butter, etc. And Yashoda Maya, she took cane, she took stick in her hand and twist your ears. And you were trembling and shaking. Wow, what was that scene? Shaking in fear. Fear get fearful. If anyone utters your name, fear get fearful. The personification of fear get fearful with your presence. But you getting scared and fearful seeing your mother angry. And you were not doing drama there. But actually you are shaking there. Trembling. Fearful from Mother Yashoda. And the tears flowing from your eyes mixed with that kajal coming on your cheeks. Aha, what was that beauty? Bhirapiyat bhiveti. So Dwarika Parikar is glorifying Braj Parikar, Radharani. Understand? Brahmaji is creator. Yeah. And what Brahmaji is, to whom Brahmaji is glorifying? Nanda Maharaj. अहो भाग्यम नंद गो प्रजा कुसम यद मित्र परमानंद पूर्ण ब्रह्म सनातन. All glories to Nand Maharaj, all glories to Nand Maharaj, father section. Huh? That Krishna is your Sanatana, eternal friend, and is playing like human, like pastimes in your body. All glories to Nand Maharaj. Uddhav ji is Dwarika Parikar. But Uddhav ji is glorifying whom? Braj Parikar. Asam Oho Charan Renu Jusham Yam Syam. Vande Braj Istirinam Pad Renu Vikshana. Yasam Hari Kathot Gitam Punati Bhuvanataranam. Uddhav ji is glorifying Radharani. One dust, one Pad Renu, singletons from the lotus feet of Radharani. Uddhav ji is Dwarka Parikar, but glorifying Braj Parikar. That's the importance of Braj Parikar. But Yashoda Maya, she loved Krishna, but then she has to even share with Nanda Maharaj. But Radharani and all the gopis, Are Patam Chahitva, Durjya Gershinkala. They Srila Gaur Govind Goswami Maharaj used to say this. For family people, householders, it's so difficult to give up those ties. And even if they give up, but it always remain there in subtle way, and it get carry forward the next life. So this Durjya Gir Shrinkhala, this chain, this Shrinkhala of family life is so difficult to give up. Once the relationship is established, it will go carry forward unless we cut that. And only weapon, knife to cut that is Krishna Bhakti Ras Bhavitamati. Only the absorption, only the knife of Krishna Katha and Krishna. There is no other way. That family ties which is so difficult to give up. But gopis, na pareham nirvantu samijam. So sadhu kritta vibhuddhi shapiva ya mam bhajam durjya graya shinkhala. Ya mam bhajam. Durjya means very, very difficult, impossible to cut that. Graya shinkhala. That bondage. But gopis, you have immediately given up this. Immediately you give up this. Therefore, I cannot repay you. I cannot repay you. Even though I promised in Bhagavad Gita, boldly I said to everyone, not only to Arjuna, I said, Ye yatha mam prapadante tam satya bhajami. You worship in whatever proportion I reciprocate you accordingly. Simple. And I am reciprocating my all devotees accordingly. Whatever mood, whatever feels they have, whatever emotions, according to what they have, according to proportion. Because I have my system. I work according to my system. But say pratigya bhang hoilo gopira bhajani. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Veena. That promise of Krishna broke in the worship of gopis. Gurudev is saying this. He used to say this in Navdi Parikrama, all this Harikatha. That promise of Krishna, he broke that promise in the worship of the gopis. Jahate Praman, what is the evidence? Shikush Mukh Vachane, the words which emanate from the lotus lips of Krishna. And what is that words? Na pareham nirvadhu samijam. I cannot repay you. I cannot repay you. I cannot repay you. Because they are not sharing with anyone. Srimati Radhika Ika. Kanti Shabde Devi Krishnamai Prokta Radhika Para Devata Sarva Lakshmi Vai Sarva Kanti Samohi Para. All philosophical point. And Gurudev used to say, even though I am giving, I don't know how many are understanding. But I have to give this. I want to give this injection. Free vaccine. Why should you say this? I'm putting that injections, antibodies. What is that? Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati. Kriyatam Yati Kutopalabhe. Tatra Lolyam Moolam Ekam. The injection of greed. I'm developing that greed. I'm just giving that seed of that samskar. One day in any lifetime, this will sprout. It cannot be destroyed. Sanskar is there, and I'm giving that sanskar. One day it will sprout, definitely. This life, next life, 5 life, 50 life, but it's already there. Now we understand the importance of Srila Gurudev's appearance for us in this material planet. He planted that seed of sanskar in the heart. And Shravan Kirtan Kore Jale Sinchan. And hearing and remembering and whatever in limitations, in whatever capacities, we are watering that seed. One day it's going to get sprout. One day, definitely, without any doubt, Gurudev said this. So, Krishna saying, Gurudev saying, Radharani, whole soul, complete. Durje Geshinkala, not caring for husband, no social duties, no Vedic fears, rejected everything only for one point, Krishna. And for that, if we have to go hell for million of lifetime, we don't mind. This is the mood of Radharani. Gurudev said, that's why my Guru Parampara starts from Radharani. That's why Krishna accepted Radharani as Guru. So, comparatively, Jaya Duja Patni Jaya Naga Kanyagan Bhakti Te Jahara Pailo Govinda Charan. Wives of Brahmins, they devoted to Krishna, no doubt. Wives of Kaliya, devoted to Krishna, no doubt. We sing every morning. But you see, when wives of Brahmins came with all those preps and offered to Krishna with love, Krishna accepted that. No time for elaborating that, we all know this. But Krishna gave little fear to them, want to test their love. He want to test that love. And is always very sharp in testing. Very sharp in testing. He can't test the love of Radharani. Radharani loved her test, his test. Test his love, sorry. But he can't test, they cannot. Because it's always failure. Krishna just showed fear and said, your husbands will reject you. And this is not Vedic system. Wives are supposed to serve their husbands. So, go back, return. And wives, the Dvija Patnis, they return to their husbands. Just little fear Krishna showed them and they returned. Nagapatnis, wives of Kaliya, when Krishna is dancing, like hitting Kaliya hoods and is vomiting blood, the wives came and asked forgiveness. Please forgive our husband. Please forgive our husband. And Krishna smiled. Okay, Kaliya, go Ramrit Deep. So they are devoted to Krishna, and that's why Kaliya got this footprint on his head, on his hoods. And this is what Dujapatnis are praying. How he got the footprints on his head? Where Lakshmi Devi cannot get those footprints, cannot get your lotus feet. Vihai Kamena Suchirena Dhritpata. She is performing austerities from so many years, ages. She cannot get your lotus feet. How this our husband so cruel? He got this. Of course, because of Sangha, association of the Nagpatnis. But still they ask forgiveness. Can you please spare our husband? Now comparatively, did gopis ever return back? Krishna showed fear to the gopis. Also, the beginning of Ras Leela, Krishna told, oh gopis, return back, go. Dushilo, Durbhago, Vriddho, Jad Rogo, Adhana Piva. Even if the husband is poor, diseased, not good conduct, still, his dharma says, always serve your husband. Krishna is trying to test and show little fear. But did they return? No. Your husbands will reject you. Did they went back? No. Stayed there. That's why Krishna is saying, Durjya Dhya Shinkhala. You gave up those ties, those bondage. That's why I cannot repay your love. I cannot repay your love. Samartha Rati. There is Sadharni Rati. There is Samanjasya Rati. Kubja love Krishna. This is all female section. Kubja love Krishna, but what is that love? Sadharni Rati. And Shukdev Goswami is kind of little angry on Kubja in this verse. Krishna is right in front of you and you develop that Sadharni Rati, ordinary love, like a lust for Krishna. You could have asked that prem, that pure love from Krishna. Even after attaining Krishna, asking for Sadharni Rati, ordinary like love, like a lust. That's love of Kubja. Then Samanjasya Rati, the love of queens of Dwarika. And the love of queens of Dwarika is what kind of love? By serving Krishna, we will also get pleased. We will please him and we also get peace. So you see all these examples Gurudev is saying, Krishna is so calculative. Even if you keep 0.00000000001%, Krishna acknowledged that. And what to speak of us? So, Mahaprabhu is not teaching us to follow the footsteps of the queens of Dwarika. Gopi Bharatu Padakamlayo, Mahaprabhu said. Not to follow the footsteps of queens of Dwarika, because in that love is also something, we will please Krishna and we will also get peace. Little tinge, smell of that Atmindi Priti Vancha is there. But gopis, Samarthayati. Radharani Samarthayati. Nothing for themselves. Kanti Shabde Krishna Sakal Vancha Roe, Krishna Sakal Vancha Radhika Rahi. Gurudev is saying, Kanti means splendor, but Kanti means all desires of Krishna. And all desires of Krishna are only fulfilled by Radharani alone. Only Radharani. Therefore, Krishna say Tomar Krishna dite paro Tomar Shakati ache. Everyone can give Krishna. Pandavas can also give Krishna. But how much Krishna can they give? as much as they were caught. Krishna is not controlled by Pandavas. Of course, little percentage, but not 100%. Even queens love Krishna, but they also can give Krishna, but not 100%. Dasyaras can also give Krishna, but not 100%. Sakhiras can also give. Vatsalyaras can also give. But who can give Krishna the most? Srila Bharati Goswami used to say, Braj Gopis. In that Braj Gopis, Radha Rani alone can give that 100% Krishna. Because that love, that prem, what Radha Rani has, that's unconditional. There is not a single condition in that. And Krishna, with the mood of Radharani, expressed this. The 8th verse of Shikshashtakam. Ashlishya va padaratam pinashtu mam mama darshna hatava karotu va. See how beautifully Gurudev is. I don't know why some people saying Gurudev is speaking his own philosophy. This is Goswami's philosophy, Baba. This is Rup Raghunath philosophy. This is their Vani. And is backed by all evidences. Chaitanya Chaitamit Kaviraj Goswami is proving this. Mahaprabhu said this. Ashlishya va padaratam pinashtumam mama darshna hatava karutuva yatha tatha va vidhatu lampato mat pranath hastu eva napara. You will always be our beloved. No matter if you give us poison like separation or if you give nectar like meeting, union. Whatever way you want to treat us, you will be always. Because this is prem. A definition of prem, Ujjwal Dinmai, Rupa Goswami is saying, Sada Dhvans Rahitam. Even if there is cause of destruction, prem never get destroyed. And this definition of prem, if anyone wants to know the glories of Radharani's prem, read Prem Samput. Starting from verse 50, where Radharani is speaking to that heavenly girl who is Krishna, and she's, how beautifully Vishnu Chakra Thakur describes this. Krishna disguised as heavenly girl, and she's criticizing Krishna to Radharani to see what is that prem in her heart. I didn't like the idea. Krishna made you cry so much. He's not worthy of love. He rejected you. He gave up your association. When you came with so much mood to give love to him, I don't like him. And Radharani immediately started saying, no, oh Sakhi. She made that heavenly girl as her Sakhi. You are my Sakhi. But you don't understand the nature of my Krishna. He's never cruel. He's always loving. But it's so difficult to understand his heart. Oh yes, because you are a heavenly girl. You're from Swarga, right? So maybe you don't understand my Krishna. Only I can understand my Krishna. He's full of compassion. And from verse 50-51, she started describing the nature of love. I'll teach you what is the nature of love is. Love is, prem is like karpur, camphor. When it is closed, it remains fragrant. When open the lid, it disappears. If a lover and beloved, so this is, we speak about transcendental love, okay? If they express to each other that I love you, then it disappears. It's just opening the lid. You don't have to say this. This is kept hidden in the heart. And action speaks better than words. How beautifully Radharani is explaining that Prem Samput. Srila Gurudev, he gifted this Prem Samput to us. for us to read. And from that verse 50 onwards, read how she so wonderfully explaining that definition of prema. He didn't rejected me. He protected me. He took all blame on his head when he disappeared from Ras Leela, so that I should not get blamed that I took over Krishna from all of you gopis. He protected my name and my fame, and he took all blame on him that he's cruel. So Sakhi, you can't understand the love of Krishna. Radha is so much describing there. With her own lotus lips, she is expressing that. And after speaking all that, she's saying, even then, even I'm speaking all this about prema, but I think I'm not able to express that. Because this is something which you cannot express. She's saying this boldly. This is something you cannot express. And then Radharani is prema ras seema. Yadi gauranga na haito, tabe ki haito, keman bharita deho. Radhara mahima prema ras seema. We were hearing this morning, I was speaking. She is prema ras seema. This is limit of, highest limit of prema. And Krishna get bewildered. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna is saying, Radhika prem vibhu jar badi te nahi thai, tathapi use khane khane bade sadai. What is the meaning? Radhika prem vibhu. Radhika prem is so high, and there is no any space, any room to go more high than that. I think you can tolerate my English. It's not very good, but I'm trying my best to make understand myself and all the things. The prem which at last limit cannot grow, cannot go more high than that. But still I'm wondering, that prem is growing each and every step. It's going more high, more high. How high will it go? I don't know. Radhika prem vibhu jar badi te nahi thai. There is no space more than that to grow. Tathapi se khane khane, each and every moment, this prem is growing more and more, enhancing. As the beauty of Krishna enhances more and more. Asmardam ananya siddhim. Gurudev said, that's why Mahaprabhu told, how is connecting this with the teachings of Mahaprabhu? Shishtastakam. How Gurudev is connecting wonderfully this with Mahaprabhu expressing his identity. We are Gopi Bhartu Padkamalayo, Das Das and Das. Gopi Bhartu, the beloved of the gopis. That's the reason. It was asked to Srila Swami Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, oh, because you worship Krishna, that's why you glorify Krishna, saying Supreme Lord. Some people worship Shiva, they say Shiva is supreme. Some worship Ganesh, say Ganesh is supreme. And because you like Krishna, then definitely you have all evidence to say Krishna is supreme. So the Swami Maharaj used to say no. It's not that we love Krishna and we say Krishna is supreme. Krishna is supreme, that's why we worship him. Similarly, Gurudev is saying, not that because Radharani is my favorite and I glorify Radharani, but because she is Prema Rasa Seema, that's why I glorify Radharani. And I want everyone to attain that Radha Dasyam, not less than this. From every perspective, from Dwarika Parikar, from Braj Devis, at Madhav Mahotsav, a wonderful book by Shri Jiva Goswami, where the Abhishek of Radharani was performed. Indra, after this Govardhan Leela, Indra did Abhishek of Krishna and announced Krishna is Braj Raj now, Prince of Braj. Then Lalita Vishaka, all gopis, Acha, if Krishna is getting Abhishek, we will do Abhishek of Radharani. We'll do Abhishek of Radharani. All the gopis arranged very nice jewel throne. And made Radharani sat on that. And given the name Umrao. Umrao. And there's a village in Braj, Umrao, where this happened. And Jiva Goswami mentioned Madhav Mahotsav. Mahotsav means festival. Festival of Madhav. But this is Abhishek of Radharani. Coronation of Radharani. But this is a festival for Madhav. The title of the book is Madhav Mahotsav. Yeah. In all Sakhis arranging very nicely Abhishek. And Braj Devi is coming. Wife of Indra, wife of Brahma, Savitri, Sachi, Shivani, wife of Shiva. They carry in the trays, carry valuable jewels to offer to Radharani. But Radharani, and they are feeling, those Devis feeling reluctant coming in near to Radharani because they know if Radharani see us, she will immediately welcome us, stand up in honor to us because she's very humble. And we don't like this idea. So from far distance, they are standing and want to offer this to the Sakhis. It's a little offering from us, offer to Radharani. Why don't you come? No, because then she will greet us. She's so humble. And limit, prema rasa sima, the limit of humility is, after hearing so much, the limit of humility is, she's prema rasa sima, the highest limit of prema. But what she's saying, na prema gandosti durape me haro. What they're saying, Radharani is so humble and so humble. Saying, na prem gandosti durape me haro. I don't have a tinge of prem in me. Radharani is saying this. Not a tinge of prem in me. One who is prema rasa sima. Oh, I will keep on speaking like that. Sorry. I thought I was going to ask devotees to speak. I got lost. Okay, I'll continue. Later. Otherwise, I'll feel bad if I'm not asked senior devotees to speak. Actually, I'll feel bad otherwise. So don't make me feel bad. I will continue. We have class tomorrow also. So I request Bhavatarni Mataji, please come. Speak on slowly. That's why I don't want to do Mangacharam. So when I start, I will go.
Sripad, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami, Iti Namane, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pachalane, Nirvisesha Sunyavani, Pastacha Deshatarane, Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyave, Shri Sriman Bhaktivedanta Narayan, Iti Namane. So, first of all, I offer my unlimited, heartfelt obeisances to my Diksha and Shiksha, spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited heartfelt obeisances to Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and pray for their causeless mercy. And I offer my obeisances to you, Maharaj, and hate to interrupt this nectarian stream of Harikatha. And to all the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, devotees, and present and listening online and the future also, I offer my obeisances and beg for their causes and your causeless mercy, and any mistakes I make or offenses, please forgive me. So, of course, I'm not qualified to speak, but I'm a little of a renegade because I want to do an offering to Srila Gurudev, but I need everyone to help me. So it's two things I want to do. First, I want to sing a song I wrote for him. Actually, it was a poem in 2003. Excuse me. He was staying at our house here on the Big Island, and it was his appearance day, and he didn't have a program that day. So just his entourage, my husband and I were staying there, and everyone was, all the entourage, they were writing in little offerings, and I asked if I could write one. So I wrote a poem, and then I had to show it to everyone and get it approved, and then I read it to Srila Gurudev. Then later on, Hari Prabhu and I made it into a song, and one day when Gurudev came back from his morning walk in Jagannath Puri, we sang it to him, and then he went to take rest, and for some reason I was ushered into the room, and he was lying on the bed looking very tired, and he saw me, and he jumped up and he pointed to the sky and he goes, "Tonight I want you to sing Guru with blue eyes in the sky." So I'd like to speak about something else, but end with a song. And both of us, my husband and I, are having some problems with our bodies, so we didn't bring our guitar. So we'd like the devotees here to sing and play instruments with us while we sing the song. And this second thing is tomorrow morning, Yashodanandana Prabhu has honored us by asking us to close the whole 3-day Zoom festival for Srila Gurudev's Vyasa Puja with 2 songs. And of course we're going to do chanting because Gurudev always, and all the devotees always requested that one the most. And he said he could understand the English the best in that one. Whenever I write a song and sing it for him, I have to give him a paper with the words on it so he could understand what I was saying. At first I had to get it approved, but then after a while he said, "Whatever you write is fine." So one day on the north shore of Hawaii at Vrindavan Das of Govinda Juices, Gurudev was staying at his house on the ocean, and I wandered into his room. It was very informal there, so I wandered into his room and he's writing, and he looks up and he goes, "Oh, I want you to write a song like this." Wow. So Radharani is placing her flute in the clips at Krishna's feet, and she's saying, "Please forgive me. I will never wrong you again. Please forgive me. I will never do that again." And then he spoke some more, and he mentioned how they were like 2 bodies with 1 soul, like 1 lotus stem with 2 flowers, like 2 with 1 breath. And he discussed more, and then I don't remember everything he said, but then he sent me over to the devotees that were editing and typing on their laptops, and he said to have the Gita Govinda wasn't printed yet, to have them give me a copy of some particular verses. So they printed them out. Do you remember who was there? Was it Manvrat? I think the one that printed out for me was a devotee whose family's from India, and he was going to Berkeley. Yes, he printed it out for me. So then I very quickly wrote a version, and this is the paper I gave to Srila Gurudev. And then he read it, and he, okay. And a few days later on the Big Island, we performed it. And it wasn't like he wasn't, I could tell he wanted more. So in Badger, Manjari, the devotee, the artist and the singer, you all know. Yes, Eugene Manjari. She came and she added some things, and we actually learned the verse Maragala Kandanam, and we added Jaya Jaya Deva Hari, and she played the harmonium, he played the guitar, and I played the tambura, and we added some other words to try to have everything Srila Gurudev said. And one time he said to me on the song Brahmara Gita in English, he said, when I finish the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, your bumblebee song will be this big. And so I knew that he wanted more in this. So for years I've been working on it. And last night when Maharaj said, I'm burning from this separation and it's going to my head, and only your feet can stop the burning of this fire. And I realized I never put the word separation in the song.
This is what I'm reading, and I wanted to say this after your lecture. Please add that line.
So I tried to add some things, and I'm going to read it to you just like a poem, and I'd like some help because we have to present this tomorrow morning at 9:40. So it's Krishna to Radha from Gita Govinda, and we begin with Jaya Jaya Deva Hari, Jaya Jaya Deva Hari. Then please hear my petition, please accept my defeat, with my head bowed humbly at your rose-colored feet. Shine your sweet smile on me. Let me drink the nectar of your bright moonlight face. Take me back into your arms and your heart's embrace, like a lotus stem with two blossoms. Though we are two, together we are one. We are just like two, but with one breath. Without your love, it will be my death. Placing my flute and peacock feather at your feet, without your love's glance, my life cannot be complete. Rain your love's glance on me. Please, then I put Gurudev's words, please forgive me, I will never wrong you again. Please forgive me, I will never do that again. We are two bodies, but with one soul. Without your love, I cannot be whole. And Smaragara Kandanam Mama Shirasi Mandanam Dehi Parapavalam Udaram. Your amorous love rages within my heart deeply. This venom of your separation's pain is deadly. Please extinguish this fire. Only your flower blossom feet have the power to counteract this fatal burning of your love's fire. By placing your cooling feet on my head, place your lotus feet upon my head. Please be kind to me. Save me before I'm dead. Use your feet to decorate my head. Allow your feet to decorate my head. So this is some of the changes. And if you have any other suggestions. Okay, but I have to be able to make it fit into the melody and rhyme by 9:40 and memorize by 9:40. So yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you to help me with. And now if we can sing the song that we wrote for Gurudev. If somebody wants to try to play the harmonium, and anyone who knows the chorus and the danga would be nice, and cartel. I don't know what key. Well, I start the song on what I said. And is it? Oh, okay, we'll start. Everyone, please sing along the harmonium. Okay. Oh, Gurudev, with eyes so blue, when I see the sky, I think of you with love and affection for a heart so true to our Guru Varga and the preaching Guru. Oh, Gurudev, with eyes so blue, when I see the sky, I think of you with love and affection for a heart so true to our Guru Varga
please come. Krishna Mandaya Vrinda.
Om Jnanati Nirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I'm offering my Shashtang Dandavat Pranams at the lotus feet of Shri Guru Pada Padma. Om Vishnu Pad Ashtotar Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev at the lotus feet of our Gaudiya Rupan Guru Varga. And then I'm offering my Shashtang Dandavat Pranams at the lotus feet, the assembled Vaishnavas, the guests, Sripad Maharaj Ji. So we're hearing the glories of Mahabhagavat Vaishnava, of Guru Pada Padma. Maharaj was just saying that his glories are unlimited. Even Anantadev himself, with millions of hoods, cannot complete the glories of Guru Pada Padma. Ananta kahite nahi pare. From the beginning of creation, he is narrating the glories. Up until this point is not complete. That's because all of the qualities that are within Krishna automatically become present in the heart of a devotee. Krishna Bhakta Krishna Guna Sakali Sanchara. Therefore his glories are unlimited. It is not possible to complete. What to speak of complete? Even to touch. Maharaj has been here now for 5 days or 6 days. 2 hours a day. And still I know not even one drop that is contained within Maharaj's heart has been narrated. What to speak about the glories above and beyond that? Unfathomable, boundless, limitless. The only limit that is there, some people say the only limit is time. We do not have enough time to speak the glories of Guru Pada Padma. But actually time is also unlimited. Time will never end. Therefore every day, every second of every week, of every month, of every year should only be utilized in glorifying Shri Guru Pada Padma and Vaishnavas. Therefore time is also not a limitation. Those who say that I have no time to remember the glories of Gurudev or to read Gurudev's books or to hear the glories of Gurudev from any Vaishnava, it is not a limit of time, it is a limit of their capacity, of their desire, of our greed. I'm speaking for myself. If we have no greed to become a real disciple, then we won't really know the glories of our Gurudev. It is our obligation to know. We must know, we must endeavor. So glories of Mahabhagavat are completely unlimited. It is our responsibility, our obligation to understand what is the true glories of Guru. Like Maharaj has been saying that everyone has different viewpoints. Actually, it is not a different viewpoint, it is different adhikar, different eligibility, different qualification. Those who are more qualified, they will see the true swarup of Sri Guru. Maharaj was saying, Guru Rupa Param Sakhi, Radha Sakhi Sangi Nivasinam, that the pure form of Guru is that he is a Sakhi of Srimati Radharani. Very far away, we cannot realize, I cannot realize. But that goal is there, so we must endeavor to develop that deep relation, that deep understanding, the identity of Guru. Gurudev used to give an example. He said sometimes most people, they come to the Himalayas and they see how high is the highest peak of Mount Everest. Because that is very easily visible. That is what's most impressive. But someone who thinks more deeper, instead he doesn't think how high, but rather how deep do the Himalayas go underneath the ground. Very easy for someone to come and pick a fruit from a tree. More intelligent person will think, oh, this fruit has actually come from the deep roots of the tree. So there is a Vaibhav of Guru. There is his opulence, his external manifestation of his opulence, and there is that source from which that opulence comes. Gurudev told one time to Pujapad Premananda Prabhu, last time he had darshan of Gurudev. put his hand on Premnand Prabhu's head and he said that you should not be attracted to my vaibhav, to my opulence. So many others will run after that opulence. All the temples, all the money, all of the disciples. That's not my true treasure. My true treasure is here, in my heart. This is for you. You should follow this. This is the source. One is the cause and one is the effect. Like Vaibhav, all the millions of disciples that Gurudev has, all the large temples, this is all the effect of that which he has within his heart. And that's what the disciples should endeavor to understand. What is in the heart of Sri Guru? Not only what is his external manifestation of opulence. The Ganga is very purifying to everyone who touches her. Devi Sureshwari Bhagavati Gange Tribhuvana Pavana Taradatarange. So many people flock to the banks of the Ganga to become liberated. They understand this to be the main glory of Ganga Devi. But they do not understand or care to even think. How did she receive this purification potency? How is she so powerful? Why? We all know because she comes directly from the feet of Lord Vishnu. This is called source. Like when there's Maharaj was talking about disease. When there's a disease that's spreading around, those scientists who come to try to understand the true nature of that disease, they do something called source tracing, where they trace all the people who had that disease back to where it originated from. That's how you understand the true nature. So in the same way, source tracing Guru's Vaibhav all the way to the source of that. And what is that? That is that which is stored within his heart. Guru Mukha Padama Vakya Chitete Koriya Aisha. Some people may ask, how can we understand what is in Guru's heart? Answer is very easy. Especially our Gurudev, he did not keep his heart concealed. Everything was open. No secrets. Everything came through his lotus mouth. So if you want to understand what is Guru's heart, very easy process, simply listen to his Harikatha. You can see those who have listened to his Harikatha throughout their lives, with open heart, with open ears, they also become gurus. Guru doesn't make disciples. Bhakti Siddhanti Saraswati Thakur said, a guru makes guru. Brajavasis, they make others into Brajavasi. So this is the glories of Guru. The sun also rises every morning. Some people think the glory of the sun is that simply it dispels darkness. Actually, this is simply the byproduct, secondary effect of the sun's true nature. And what is that? Its inner radiance, its page, its brilliance burning. That is the quality of the sun. And then automatically when the sun rises, darkness is dispelled. Automatically. So in the same way, sadhus are also like the sun. Mahabhagavat are also like the sun. In Srimad Bhagavatam it says, Sadhunam sammachittanam shutara matpritatmana darshanano bhaved bhandas pumso akshno saviturjita. Sadhus are like the sun. They can dispel darkness. But this is not their main glory. They can dispel darkness because they have light. They can quench the inner thirst of the souls of the jiva because they have bhakti. They can help the poor because they truly have wealth. What does the poor mean? Maharaj was also saying yesterday. Mahaprabhu says, Prema artha vina daridra jivan. Without love for God, then everyone is a poor person. So Vaishnavas, Gurupad Padma, they can give this wealth to us. We are poor. Regardless of what our bank balance says, we have no love for Krishna. And we are the poorest of the poor. So Mahabhagavat Vaishnavas, they have this wealth. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes, Brajavasi Gane Pracharakara Dhane. Only the Brajavasis have the highest wealth, the true wealth, the ultimate wealth. And what is that? The highest love for Krishna. You're hearing tonight. The level of the praying of Brajagopis of Srimati Radharani. This is true dhan. This is true wealth. Only Brajavasis can give this. That's why I said only Brajavasis are a true pracharak. Pracharak means someone who can preach. Gurudev said, a true prachar means prakrishta rupena achar. That person who practices perfectly, automatically, the byproduct, secondary effect will be, he will begin to preach. You try to switch the equation, then Gurudev said he is not acharya, he is acharya. Acharya means a pickle. Chili pickle, Gurudev would say. Swayam acharate yasmad acharya stena kirtita. If you practice everything completely in your own life, then easily, automatically you can give. Gurudev said that throughout my whole life, every word that I have spoken, I have personally practiced myself. That's why when I speak, it enters into the heart. When someone else speaks, absolutely no effect if they're not following themselves. So this is true acharya. Acharya is not something easy. Guru bahava shanti shishya vita paharaka durlabha sadguru deva shanti shishya paharaka. For Guru to be qualified, it says Guru nasasyat svajano nasasyat. If he cannot deliver his disciples from this cycle of birth and death, then how can he call himself Guru? True Guru can give this wealth. Brajavasis can give this dhan. Gurudev is Brajavasi. Braja rasa rasikam cha kripa murti narayanam. He is Braja rasa rasik. How much, wherever he went, he would only tell the glories of Braj. No matter which subject he began from, it always ended somehow or other in the glories of the Brajavasis, especially the Brajagopis. This is the nature of a Braja rasik Vaishnava. We heard also this morning, just now, that Brajavasis cannot help but speaking the glories of Krishna and his associates. So they follow everything. The essence of all advice, Gurudev told us everywhere he went, he said, if my disciples do not know this, then better they should not call themselves my disciple. What is the essence of all advice for everyone? Kalam nayet akhilam iti upadesha saram. The essence of everything Rupa Goswami has given in Upadesh Amrita. Starting with Tan Nam Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu. Gurudev was telling us all these instructions. Really, if you want to see a person perfectly practice these instructions, then look at that Acharya who's speaking. Gurudev perfectly practiced throughout his entire life the essence of all advice. Starting with Tan Nam Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu. The Nam, Rupa, Guna and Leela of Krishna and all of his associates, one should constantly. Sukirtana means not sometimes. Not once a year on Vyasa Puja. Not even every day in the morning when we chant our 4 rounds, 8 rounds or 16 rounds. Constantly, without stop. Like an unceasing flow of honey. We should be remembering Krishna's Nam, Rupa, Guna and Leela. If we see Srila Prabhupada Padma, he cannot help but speak Harikatha. Why? Because we heard also Gayantim Ananda Samudra Magna. When a Brajarasik Vaishnava is speaking Harikatha, he is bathing himself in Ananda. Wherever Gurudev used to travel, Maharaj always used to attempt to stop Gurudev after 1 hour. Actually, after 30 minutes he would stop and have one kirtan. Sometimes Gurudev would become so absorbed, he would just tell Maharaj, wait, I'm speaking now. Maharaj had such a hard time to stop Gurudev because of health reasons. Why? Because this is the nature of Brajavasi. When Gurudev, I can never forget, when Gurudev first came to Badger, some devotees there, they made some request that, because there was some hesitation that, Narayan Maharaj is speaking these very high topics of Rajabhav that we've never heard before or not familiar with. Therefore, maybe it's better if we just request him maybe to tone things down just a little bit to make it easier for everyone to accept. So Gurudev, I heard this actually from the brahmacharis who lived in Mathura. When Gurudev, after this, we all know what happened that first year. Gurudev gave no heed to that. Went in one ear and out the other. The first thing he started with was Govinda Damodar Madhava, without any hesitation. When he came back to Mathura, he told his brahmacharis there, like joking, can you believe that they actually requested me not to speak on these topics? To request of Brajavasi not to speak about the glories of Braj is like requesting an ordinary person not to breathe. How is it possible? It cannot be possible. So this is called Sukirtananu, speaking without stop. This is called true kirtan. Tannamarupa charitari sukirtananu smritya kramena rasana manasini yojya. In this way, constantly glorifying Krishna. Those who are present in Gurudev's Harikatha, we all know. We are also absorbed in that Gayantim Ananda Samudra Magna. Today, I was remembering in Mathura, in Keshavji Gaudiya Math at that time, the Harikatha that Gurudev would give there, even though he spoke very, very high esoteric topics all over the world, in Mathura, Keshavji Gaudiya Math, Harikatha I gave there was, even though I was just a small boy at that time, completely felt like I was in another world. I was another person. Completely drowned in amazing flow of nectar. Those who are there, they understand these things. Otherwise, words cannot even describe. Words cannot describe what it's like having a Brajarasik Vaishnava simply open his heart with no filter. And that's why it says, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Kariya Aikya. Make our heart one with the words that are emanating from Gurudev's mouth. Why? Because the words that emanate from Guru's mouth, they are also one with his heart. Those words that are emanating, they are the same as Gurudev's heart. So if we make them one with our heart, then we are disciple. Then we can taste these things. Amazing. I remember during that time, just a small temple room in Keshavji Gaudiya Math, but it seemed like all the saintly assembly from all throughout Brajmandal all would come there each evening. For 2 or 3 hours, and we'd be completely absorbed, completely forgetting. Tasmin mahan mukharitam madhubhis charitra piyusha shesha sharita parita shravanti. We forgot about eating, sleeping if we are thirsty. Why? Because everything that's coming from Gurudev's mouth is complete nectar. When you're drinking this type of nectar, tadra samrita triptasya nanya atta syadrati kvachit. Then no taste will come in any other direction. So this is the glories of Brajavasi.
And the importance of seeing Gurudev right in front, sitting there and hearing from him, that was something. We cannot get smooth conversation on phone or screen.
Amazing. Really, really indescribable. How fortunate we were. Bhutana bhavishyati. Whether or not we receive chance in this life again. But still we can remember. Remembrance is very powerful. These samskars that we received, Maharaj said the other night that this is all we have now. Now Gurudev's katha that he left, simply to meditate on this, simply to remember this, and this is true Guru Bhuta. So Gurudev was constantly engaged like this. Smityo kramena rasana manasini yojya. Rupa Goswami says, continues about the essence of advice. To engage one's mind and one's tongue. First comes the tongue, rasana, and then manasa. Gurudev again, always his tongue would be chanted. You know that once when Gurudev had heart surgery, they actually put him under anesthesia. He was completely senseless, but still his tongue was chanting the holy name, Harinam. Remember once Gurudev came back from his western tour in Mathura, and usually when he would come back, he would give a summary of all the places that he went and all the katha that he spoke. And he said, this year when I went, I simply spoke the glories of Harinam, encouraging everyone. Don't you know that this Harinam is the greatest treasure? Harinama tuva aneka swarupa yasoda nandana ananda vardana nanda tanaya rasakup. Rasakup means a reservoir of complete sweetness. I encourage everyone, simply drink this Harinam. This was Gurudev's mood. Everything is contained within Harinam. All of Krishna's pastimes are there. Everyone should completely dedicate themselves to chanting. Like who? Like Gurudev. He's always chanting from day one, never stopping his Harinam. And then comes Manasa, engaging one's mind. We all saw Gurudev. Never was there a time when he was not absorbed in Brajabhava. Mahaprabhu says, Anyera hridayamana mora mana vrindavan, manivani eka karijani. Other people's minds, where are they, where are they not? Who can say? No one can say. The mind is restless like the wind. But the mind of a Brajavasi Vaishnava, like Mahaprabhu, manivani eka karijani. I see no difference between my mind, my heart, and Vrindavan, because I am constantly there. They say that you can take a Brajavasi outside of Vrindavan, but it's never possible to take Vrindavan outside of a Brajavasi. Maharaj said yesterday, Jekane Vaishnava Gana Se Stane Vrindavana Se Stane Ananda Ashesh. Wherever Brajavasis travel, that place becomes Vrindavan. We've all witnessed that as well. Even when we are not in Braj, even in some Western locations, still it felt just the same as Braj. Why? Because the Brajarasik Vaishnava is there. But Gurudev had so much attachment for Braj. I remember once during a festival here in Hawaii, the festival was almost over, And my father was there also. We were giving Gurudev massage. And it was a very nice festival. It seemed like very successful. 400 or 500 people were there. Very nice Harikatha. Everything was running very smoothly. And Gurudev looked at my father and he said, "How many days are left in this festival?" and Goprabhu said, "Oh, Gurudev, tomorrow is the last day." I said, "Oh, good. I want to return to Vrindavan. I want to return to Navadvip." So even though Brajavasis, seems like they go outside of Vrindavan, their minds are always there. Gurudev Sevaks has told me that in the middle of the night, Gurudev in his sleep, he is doing Stava Stuti. Ha Devi Kafu Bharagada Gada Yadya Vacha, the Stuti by Rupa Goswami. In his sleep, Gurudev is doing like this. I remember once when Gurudev returned from the western countries to New Delhi, somehow or other, I was there when he arrived at the Delhi Wala's house. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning that Gurudev arrived on his flight. By the time he came to the house, maybe like 3 o'clock in the morning. So we all came to give Gurudev massage, thinking that he would rest some. Then he asked, "What time is it?" Gurudev, now is 3 or 3:30. Even though Gurudev had been up the entire flight, not slept 1 week, he said, "How can I sleep now? Now Radha and Krishna are performing their Nishanta Lila. Now is not time for my sleep." This is called Manasa, Niyojya. That means completely, Niyojya means engaged, completely engaged. Brajavasis are like that. They have a special quality within their heart. Ishte svarasiki raga, parama vishchita bhaved, tanmaya bhaved, bhakti savai ragatmi bodhita. This is called ragatmi bhajan. They are completely absorbed. Tanmaya, and parama avishchita. Completely absorbed in this mood. Maharaj also reminded me last time he was here that once Gurudev was in Jaipur, speaking on the glories of Mother Yashoda, in front of Govindaji temple. Thousands of people assembled. While he was speaking on how pathetic was Mother Yasoda's separation from Krishna after he went to Mathura, Gurudev began to weep. Ecstatic symptoms came on his body. His entire body became pale, and he began to shake. I've never seen anything like that before. This is called avesh. This is called absorption. This is the essence of advice that Rupa Goswami is giving. If you want to see an example, this is our Gurudev. So lastly, Rupa Goswami says, Tishtana braje tad anuragi jananugami. I remember another time Gurudev was in Badger, and he was telling this shloka, Varhapidam natavara vapu karinayoha karnikaram, describing the beauty of Krishna, going through each attribute on Krishna's body for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Then all of a sudden when he finished, Pravishat ya gita kirti, the last line of the verse, it seemed like his trance broke. All of a sudden he looked around to see, where am I? What is going on? He was completely absorbed in another world. It says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham deham ashtita bhajate tadrishikrita yashrutva tatparo bhavet. Those who are real hearers of Bhagavatam, when they speak, it is not like us when we speak. When they speak, they are seeing directly that lila. Not only are they seeing, they are involved in that lila. They are actually performing pastimes with Krishna. And those pastimes, that what they are seeing in that trance, that's coming from their mouth. This is called samadhi bhakta. Many times Gurudev spoke like this. So when he came out of this trance, he looked around and he said, "Oh, how beautiful is Krishna and how beautiful is Vrindavan." He said, "I want to take all of you there." And then he said, "But you must become qualified first." So Gurudev said, my main udeshya means my main purpose, my inner intent of traveling all around. What is that? To bring everyone to Braj. He would say so many times when he came to different devotees' houses, "Thank you so much for inviting me to your home. Now let me repay my debt to you. I will invite you to my home. Come to Braj Mandal Parikrama." Everywhere Gurudev went, he gave that invitation before he left. Everyone must come to Braj Mandal or Navadvip Mandal. Because that's Gurudev's home. Because home is where the heart is. So this is called Tishtan Braje. To live in Vrindavan. Nowadays so many people, we have these dilemmas. Where should I move? Where should I go? Hawaii has a volcano. New Braj has a forest fires. Everywhere I think, oh, there's some dilemma there. It says, Kuriyat Astya Virajito Giritate Sevam Viveka Naka. Rupa Goswami says, only a foolish person would ask these questions. Answer is given right there. Tishtan Braje. How simple. Live in Braj. If this doesn't apply to us, then who is Rupa Goswami speaking to? Tishtan Braje Tad Anuragi Jananandam. But there is one, Gurudev would always say, there is one condition. Simply by going to Braj doesn't mean that you're a Brajavasi. Nahyas Mayani Tirtani Nandevam Nichilamaya Te Punatya Urukalena Darshanat Eva Sadhava. The turtles swimming in the Jamuna, we cannot call them Brajavasis. The pigs eating the stool in the sewers, we also cannot call them Brajavasis, Gurudev would say. To really be qualified to become a Brajavasi, you must Tishtan Brajet Tad Anuragi Jananuragi. You must be under those who are very, very possessive of Brajmandal. Anuragi Jan, who have so much attachment to Brajmandal, who are Rasik and Bhavuka. If you stay under their shelter in Vrindavan Dham, this is the essence of all advice. So Gurudev is this Anuragi Jan. How much affection he had for Sri Brajmandal. Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays, "Ei sabachodata kahi nahi jao, ei sabachodata hamara parao. Bhakti vinoda kahe sunakanatu udipaka hamara parao." To give up Brajmandal, where all the Leela Stalis of Krishna have taken place. Everywhere I go, I see those Leelas taking place. To give those up is like giving up my life. Gurudev and Badger, one last thing I remember again, it's just coming. Another time in Badger, Gurudev began to tell the shloka that Maharaj was saying yesterday. He Radhe Brajadevi ke chalalite he nanda shuno kutaha. And he began to weep before finishing. Another time, he began to shake and he also became pale. Why? Because Gurudev has experienced these moods. These moods that have been described in this Ashtakam, they are glorifying the Sad Goswamis. How they went to each place in Brajmandal calling out for Radha and Krishna. Where have you gone? Are you at the foot of Govardhan Hill or are you at the banks of the Jamuna? In this way, Kedera Mahavivalo, they'd be overwhelmed in prayer, overwhelmed in love. What happened when Gurudev spoke? Those symptoms came. He became overwhelmed in love. Why? Because he has experienced those same things as Rupa and Sanatan. We all came much later, so we didn't see Gurudev's sadhak lila. When he was acting like a sadhak, a practitioner. When Gurudev was very young, he'd go sleep under a different tree every night in Brajmandal. Nana Ratna Nibadha Mulavitapa Shiyukta Vrindavane, just like the Sad Goswamis. Some people say this is a sign of detachment. They have no home, therefore they sleep under a different tree each night. Gurudev said, no, this is very misunderstanding. Real reasons is because they have anurakta. They have true attachment to what? To these kalpa vrikshas, to these trees of Vrindavan. Why? Because Nana Ratna Nibadha Mula Vitapa, because their roots are lined with priceless jewels. Gurudev said, what are these jewels? Not ordinary jewels. These jewels are pastimes of Radha and Krishna that were performed under these trees. The Goswamis would go there and embrace the trees. Oh Kalpavriksha, please manifest within my heart the leelas that happen underneath your branches, underneath your shade. So this is called Braja Anuragi Jan. If we find a Vaishnava like this, and Maharaj was saying, Stane Stita Shruti Gitam Tanuvad Manu. Simply dedicate your life there. Jivanti Sanmukharitam Bhavati Avartam. Your entire life, simply dedicate there. Make that your permanent place of residence. So these things are very easy to say. Very rare person is a person who can accomplish that. To be an Anugami Jan of Braja Anuragi. To follow Gurudev with our heart and soul, not only with our words and our Facebook posts. To follow Gurudev with our heart. This is a real disciple. So on this day, the occasion of his Vyasa Puja, I'm praying to his lotus feet. Also praying to the lotus feet of those who have taken Srila Gurudev's instructions to heart, who are taratmika with Srila Gurudev, who are following Gurudev's instructions, who are actually his anugami. I am praying to them also that I know how unqualified I am. I know, and Gurudev knows, no one else knows. So I'm praying to him that this is I've heard this is the meaning of causeless mercy. There is no cause to give, but still, they give. Patra apatra vicharam na kurute, Maharaj was saying. So that is simply my prayer. Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays. Premamrita varidhara sadapana ratatar Krishna tahadera bandhuvati. There are those personalities who are so dear to Krishna. They are like his friends, his lovers, and they are constantly drinking premamrita varidhara, this flow of ambrosial prem. They are drinking and they have the power to give it to us. Therefore Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Se sava brajajana sukalyana niketana vinodera dinahina gati. O Brajavasi Jan, O Gurudev, you are Sukalyana Niketan, you are my only shelter. You are the embodiment of all happiness, of all good qualities. Please provide me your shelter, even though I'm fully unqualified. Shiva Gurudeva ki jai. Shiva Gurudeva
Wonderfully described by Shravan Prabhu. Very elaborately description of Gurudev being Brajavasi. Brajabhav. Brajavasi will only speak Brajabhav. And very importantly, he mentioned about the sadhana of Srila Gurudev. Srila Gurudev used to say, I perform sadhana like Goswamis. Where? That in Govardhan, where we have now this Girdhari body Amar. The same place, small little hut, and all forest around, snakes and scorpions, etc. Guru said, I did very intense sadhana like Goswamis. So, Radha Dasya is like, we used to say, milk of she lion, which is very, very strong, very warm. Any other container cannot hold that. Only container of gold can hold that. In one of the lectures, Gurudev was speaking in Mathura. So, very high mood. This we are hearing from some days. From every perspective, Brajavasi and Radharani's Mahima is so high. But that sadhana also have to be high to understand and to hold this. So Gurudev used to say, take admission in the school of Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj. Vishprulamba Rasambodha Padam Bhujayate Namaha. In that mood of separation, Kothai go Premamai Radhe Radhe. Where are you, O Radharani? Tomar Kangal Toma Dake Radhe Radhe. I'm your beggar. Dekha diya pran rakho Radhe Radhe. In that mood of separation. If you don't develop that mode of separation, you cannot get this Maharaj. So, what to speak of mode of separation of Radha Krishna, to whom we have never even seen, we are just hearing about that. Separation comes when, separation always is there when there is union. So that personality is to whom we never saw in our life, how the separation can be done. So, we have seen Srila Gurudev in our time, in our life. This separation can be developed. Crying at the lotus feet. Karuna na haive kandiya kandiya prana na rakhi wo aay. When you come to this stage, that I will die if you won't show your mercy to me. I will cry and weep at your lotus feet. Gurudev used to say, how many sadhakas they cry and weep. And how this attachment develops? by giving life to Gurudev. If you give life, you get life. Because life comes from life. You give your life, you get life in return. In this year in Kartik Parikraman last year I said, my Guru Maharaj, Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, Param Guru Dev, from very young age, they given their complete life, day and night, without taking care of your health, of their health, etc. They given their complete self. They sold their self at the divine lotus feet of Bhakti Siddhanti Prabhupada, their Guru Maharaj. And what they got in return? What they got in return? Because there's always some return. Dadati Prati Vindati. You know what they got in return? The treasure, the wealth of tears in their eyes when they about to utter the name of their Guru Maharaj. This is something I personally witnessed. Seeing my Guru Maharaj, and some God brothers of Guru Maharaj used to visit him. Even Grastas, Madan Mohan Prabhu, even Grasta, were so much in love with their Guru Maharaj Prabhupada that he used to chant Harinam, but more than that he was chanting Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada all the time. He used to sit on his chair, be coming to him, paying obeisances, and he said Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Once upon a time he was possessed by a ghost. And he's just chanting Prabhupada, Prabhupada, and was released. I personally saw Krishna Keshav Prabhu, personal cook of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. He used to reside in Jagannath Puri. He was personal servant of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada. So all these God brothers of my Guru Maharaj, I saw them. This is what they got in return. They saying Prabhu, not even Prabhupada. And they start crying. They got this return gift of spending their whole life, taking that big responsibility to serve the mission of my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. And this return gift is tears in their eyes. And tears in their eyes means that loving separation moment from their Guru Maharaj. It's not simple, or it's not that easy. When we give life, we'll get a life. Our energy, money, etc., whatever, physical energy, mind, intelligence. Srila Bharati Maharaj used to say, wherever you spend your energy, you get automatically attached to that. You give your energy to your house, your family, attachment is easy, spontaneous. And the same amount of energy if you give to our Guru, immediately you get attached to him, because your attachment flows where your energy, you give your energy. So not only sannyasis, my Guru Maharaj and others, but even the Grasta disciples of Prabhupada, they give their life. Shri Madan Mohan Prabhu, he is maternal grandfather of Srila Budai Maharaj, Prabhupada disciple. Whatever he was earning, he used to give 50% of his salary in the hands of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his Guru Maharaj. With this idea, with this mood, whatever I am earning the whole month, I am giving my energy 10 hours, 9 hours a day. That energy comes in the form of salary. That's my energy. So whatever I need to maintain my family, that much is there, but 50%, rest of that, or maybe the other half, the beginning of that, offer to my Guru Maharaj. And that's why attachment is there. When he got retired, he was getting pension, he used to give, and Srila Prabhupada already left in 1937, 1st January. He got retired, he was getting pension, but thinking this is the center of my Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj, he used to stay there, he used to preach there, my earning should go there. Then he used to ask his sons also, whatever you earning, give me a portion of that, because I want to serve Prabhupada. But Prabhupada already disappeared from his life. But no, he's present in the center. He used to ask his son-in-laws, this Indian culture, Indians can understand. A father-in-law asking money from son-in-law, something very, how you say this? It's not polite. That's Indian culture. But he used to ask his son-in-laws, give me money, yes, a portion of this money. And his friends, relatives used to say, Madan Mohan Prabhu, it's not polite. You're asking son-in-law. Say, why not? Aren't they my son? If I'm getting money from my sons, they're also my son. What is the difference? So he used to collect because he said, now physically I cannot walk. But only I can serve Prabhupada's contribution in the mission of Prabhupada. Publishing books, etc. So because of life dedication by Guru Maharaj and all other acharyas, what they got in return? Tears, which is very valuable. And similarly, Srila Gurudev, we see the beginning of the day of Kartik Parikrama, when he used to introduce Param Guru, like appearance of Param Gurudev, and saying, I have invited all of you today, and this is the mercy of my Guru Pad Padma, Shishima Bhakti Pragyan, and that's it. Guru Maharaj used to go, Gurudev used to go with his cloths under his glasses and weeping and crying. You know, this is what they get in return, the tears in the eyes. So, Srila Gurudev said, I have taken so much responsibility, not only to explain what is the moods of the Goswamis, but to protect my sampradaya also is a big responsibility. And what is your responsibility? What is your responsibility? What is your responsibility? If you don't live without responsibility, Gurudev used to say, your life is animal life. Because they are not responsible for anything. Being a devotee, being a human being, and on the top of that being a devotee, every individual should be responsible for some service. More or less whatever it is. Some responsibility everyone has to take, so that person has to be responsible for that service. It can be any kind of service. This was a very heavy lecture in Barsana. Gurudev was so angry and upset seeing that no one is helping in this parikrama. They're not serving. Everyone is just enjoying. I'm not inviting all of you to enjoy here. I invited all of you to come in this festival of service. I was peeling potatoes. Shravan Prabhu, with all the party team of Pujapat Premanand Prabhu. So even though Gurudev appointed me in the publication, computer, etc. But we used to be together, all boys. We were so close friends in Mathura, peeling potatoes. And Gurudev came behind, and everyone was laughing and joking when they saw Gurudev. They were quiet and peeling potatoes. And he was right behind me. And I thought, what's happening? Everyone was joking, laughing, and all became so quiet. And Gurudev was just behind me. And he saw, who's that? Who's this brahmachari? And he saw me. Oh, he took my ears and pulled me. This is not your seva. This is not your seva. Go in your room. I have 200 boys to peel potatoes, but I have I don't have a big team to work in my publication. So do what I have said. That's your responsibility. You are so good. We were naughty. We still used to skate sometime and come joining the in the kitchen department. Yeah. So, once upon a time, Parikrama, all bus is gone. Me and my godmother, Madhapatru, we approached Srila Gurudev in Govardhan Girdhari Gaudiya, because many times he was not going in parikramas, so he was resting, and we approached him and said, Gurudev, we always offending you. He said, why are you saying this? Because you are giving an order to everyone to go parikrama, but we are not doing parikrama. Gurudev said, I bless you, you get all result of doing parikrama, because whatever you are doing is on my order and my instruction. Even if you are not going parikrama, no offense, I bless you, get the result of performing parikrama. Such a big statement, because he gave some responsibility. I'm not showing off, please don't take otherwise. Gurudev always used to say, take responsibility, any responsibility, and serve the mission. Not just whole day Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, but no prayers like a machine chanting, no heartfelt prayers, no realization. No, do something. At least just go to the hill of beach and with Mridanga sing 3 hours. Someone will come to hear you. Anyone will come. Someone will come to hear you. Some miracle will happen. Maybe you are the cause of preaching. You become the cause of preaching. Something. No? So, Gurudev always to teach us, be responsible. Then we get Shri Guru Charani Rati, attachment at his lotus feet. And the life will come from it. Hare Krishna. So, taking so much time. Again, thank you so much, Shravan Prabhu and his whole team hosting this program. Today is the last program here, and tomorrow will be the last program in this trip, Shiva Sangam again. And day after tomorrow I'm leaving. I'll come again sometime. Not God willing, Gurudev willing. Sometime, and we'll hear more and more Harikatha. There are so many other devotees. Also, I'll request them to speak tomorrow. So, keeping up here. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Suchandra ji. Mama, 5 minutes.
Thank you.